Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Hangout on Air on Display Network Best Practices. My name is Alex and I'm on the AdWords team in Mountain View. I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Nadirah and Charlie, if you guys just want to introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Nadirah.
I'm Charlie, and Nadirah and I are on the AdWords team.
Good deal. This Hangout is going to be focused on some best practices around building a display network. If you have any questions for us during the Hangout, feel free to go to the Google Plus Ads page and go to the question and answer app and feel free to drop in a question. If you're already on the Google Plus page, you can toss in a question right from there. If you're watching after the fact and you're watching on YouTube, you should see some timestamps down below that tell you the different portions of the Hangout so you can jump to the most relevant topic. So just as a brief introduction before we go over to Nadirah and Charlie, who are going to cover some of the main techniques and strategies. The display network is a network of sites that shows Google Ads. There's millions of these sites. Over 90% of the people on the internet, come into contact with display network sites. Some examples like NewYorkTimes.com is one common, example. People see a lot of Google Ads on that website, and it's a great way for you to show your ads to people who are browsing the internet. But that's kind of the basics on what is the display network. Nadirah, if we just want to maybe start off with some of the best practices, things that you suggest advertisers look into when they're running a campaign?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a number of ways to target the display network, or to target your users on the display network. The two most common ways are by using display keywords and also using placements. So if you want to use display keywords, it's a little bit different than using keywords on the search network because users aren't actually physically searching for the keywords on the display network. Instead, we match your keywords contextually to the context of the pages that we show on the display network. So why don't we go ahead and jump into the account so we can walk through setting up the keywords and give you guys an example.
Okay, we're in there now.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and first find the campaign, your display network campaign, and then we will select the ad group. And then next we'll click on the display network tab. And then once you click on the display network tab, you'll click on that red plus targeting button. And then once you get there, you'll click on that little pencil in the first section that says display keywords in the upper right hand corner. There we go. And then you can type in the keywords that you want to target on the display network. For instance, flower bouquets, for our example that we're using, or flower shop, for instance. And we'll use these keywords to match your ads to sites that match the context of flower shops and flower bouquets, for example. And then, once you're done with that, you want to go ahead and add them so that they show up on the right-hand side. So the second most common way is to target specific websites, and these are called placements. So if you scroll down a little bit, or not, okay, yeah, and then click on Add Other Targeting Options. You'll see there's an option for you to actually type in websites, or you can do a search and use the options that we already have. So for instance, if you did a search for home and garden, you can see the sites that come up and add some of those options there, just like what we did with the keywords. And you can just click on the double arrows for any sites that you want to target on the display network. And so after you're done, you can just click Save at the bottom. And that's it, pretty simple. So now we'll head over to Charlie if you want to tell us a little bit of some other options that you can use when targeting the display network.
Yeah, sure thing. Thanks for that, Nadirah. In addition to keyword and placement targeting, the two most popular methods, we also have what's called topic targeting and interest targeting. I often describe these two types of targeting as two sides of the same coin, as they're very similar but different in some very important ways, and I'll go ahead and explain that now. With topic targeting, it allows you to place your ads directly on pages within the topics you've selected. So we categorize all of the websites on the display network into different categories. Targeting by topics is an alternative to selecting individual placements, like Nadirah just described, and your ads can appear on pages within these topics, as opposed to targeting them as specific placements or with the keyword contextual targeting. Going back to our example that we've just been using here, we would choose the topic of gardening and landscaping to reach users by showing ads that are related to pages about flower gardening. Flipping the coin over, with interest targeting, as opposed to targeting categories of websites, you're targeting categories of users. So if a person browses on websites for things like flowers, flower bouquets, flower arrangements, we note that this person falls into a particular interest category, and so we'll show them ads related to flower arrangements, floral bouquets, regardless of the actual website they're looking at that moment. So take a user who spends a lot of time looking at flower websites, even if they take a break to look at something like NewYorkTimes.com or perhaps their favorite fashion blog, we can still show them your flower ads because we've noted that they are interested in flowers based on their browsing history. And so the steps are exactly the same for adding topics or interests. So jumping back into our quick demo here, from that same add targeting drop-down menu, choose either topics for topics or interests and remarketing for interests. We needn't worry about remarketing for the time being because that will be covered next week.
Good deal. So I'm controlling the screen share here. You can see that when you add as you add different targeting options, you can do interests up here, and then you can also do topics down here. And they both have options, in this case, for gardening categories. Good information there. So in terms of the display network and what's it for, a lot of times people use the display network for branding because, like Nadirah mentioned, people aren't searching for your keywords, right? They're browsing the internet. So it's a great way for you to show your ad to people who aren't necessarily searching for what you're offering, but are hopefully interested. And you can layer these targeting options. You can set up different ad groups and have each ad group only use one of the targeting options. So you can get really restrictive, or you can get pretty broad as well. So thank you guys for walking us through that. Before we end, we like to get at the end of our videos, we like to go around and maybe talk a little bit about ourselves so people get to know us. So we kind of like to share one fun fact, or Googley fact as we would call it here at Google. Nadirah, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe one fun fact.
Sure. So I love going to shows and concerts, and most recently I saw Elton John in Vegas, and he was awesome.
Nice. Nice working with you.
I'm jealous of you. One Googly fact about me, I've made working here at Google something of a family affair. More recently, just started working with my cousin, Whitney, who hopefully we'll be able to get on one of our presentations here. Couldn't be happier to have one of my cousins working right next to me. So
I did not know she was your cousin.
Yeah, it's
I wasn't really aware of that.
Keeping it in the family.
Who else are you related to?
Actually, me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Oh, and fun fact about me. I think last time I did this, I said I couldn't spell my full name, which is Alexander, until 2nd grade. That's a fun fact. I also thought I was going to be a professional juggler as a kid, and I would take being sick at home to juggle sometimes. But given that up, still do it recreationally. But thank you guys. So next week, as Charlie mentioned, we're going to do a hangout on air on remarketing. That's actually another targeting feature that you can do on the display network, another thing you can layer on top of what we learned today. But if you have any questions for us during the week, feel free to give us a call. If you go to the Help Center, go to the Contact Us button, you can see your local number, or you can see the ways you can get in contact, email, chat, all of that. And you can also always go to our Google Ads YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch these videos weekly. But thanks so much for tuning in. Goodbye from us. Have a good rest of your week.
Bye, guys.